That still excites me because this goes back a long way. I could say back to 1975 when I got my first comic books. Just having these thoughts, and I was reading mythology already, and so we can take that from 85 to 82. By 1982, I was creating my own kinds of comic characters because even then, there was just a few black comic book characters. And what got me started even looking at superhero comics besides the mythology was a friend of mine brought me X-Men number 96. And he kept saying, this character Storm, she's the best character ever made. And I said, let me see this comic book. He shows me the comic book, and there's Storm on the cover with the X-Men. And that's probably the third or fourth book that I got outside of Fantastic Four, Marvel comic books. So between Marvel comic books and my own mythology reading, all these things were percolating. And then as you see 1,000 characters and maybe 5 might be, black characters, it's like, well, there's a whole world of people that somebody's forgetting about. Even the people of African descent really weren't making these kinds of characters. And so speed that up to maybe 1981, 82, as far as 86, when I was just seeing these glimpses of people trying to do independent black comic book characters, including Turtel Only's Nog, N-O-G. And then the folks from, I believe they were from Boston, they had like Kamet Comics, and they had the Numidian Force, all of these different comic books that were out, but they just weren't on a regular basis. And so my thinking was, if we have all of these people doing these, varied characters across the country, from California to New York, how come there's nothing linking them? And that's how the ECBACC piece came to me. I took Black Age from Turtel Only's convention, which really was more of like artsy comic, some comics included, but mostly it was about art. And I said, well, there's nothing really that's dealing with comic books per se. So this is the first black comic book convention right here in Philadelphia that we started in 2002. Let's go back a little bit. In 1998 or so, maybe before that, talking to brother Bill Foster from Connecticut, who's a Philadelphian, we talked about trying to put together a think tank of men at the time who were doing comic books. And so, rehashed it back and forth, those kinds of things. But it wasn't until 2002 that we actually had the first convention, with about 35 to 50 people, I think, showed up. And they were mostly, if not all, in the comic book world, as far as, from California to Ontario, Canada.